everyone, this is Mindy Eggen and welcome back to another video for Tailored Expressions. In today's video, I will be going over the new Hey There card kit, the contents of the kit, and I'll also show you how you can mass produce these really fun and cheerful cards. Here's a look at how you would receive the kit. They come in these large zipper pouches, and the contents of your card kit will be inside of those. I love these large zipper pouches because they're great for storing any other of your craft supplies. You can take the sticker off the front, but I like to leave mine on. So first thing we have here is the Hey There stamp and stencil combo. It has 3 different varieties of the Hey There sentiment. Inside of that, you will find a stencil that's 3 layers to add shadows. Now these are the red rubber stamps, and here's a closer look at the stencils. So these are going to add different shadow layers to your sentiment, and you can change up the color. So I love the concept of this, where you can really customize and have a lot of fun with these stencils. Here's a closer look at them. There is an outline or an etched line on the stencil, so that'll help in lining up your shadow layers, and each of the stencils have this. Also in the kit, we have the Good Vibes stamp set. Lots of great sentiments on here that match our Hey There font style. You got this. Lots of great ones on here. Then we also have the coordinating die, so you can die cut out that large Hey There word. And then we have the envelope seals. I love these. I think these are a lot of fun to add to your envelopes. So you have a couple in each color with the style to match your kit. These envelope seals have an adhesive on the back that you just peel off the release paper and you can stick right onto your envelope. I also like to decorate my computer with them, so they're multifunctional. And then we have some colorful envelopes to match as well. So everything you need to get started in sending out some great inspirational cards. A couple other fun elements of the kit is this Dottie Ray stencil. I'll be using this in the video. And then we also have the Hey There Sunshine stencil. Now, some of the other items I'll be using today are the ink pads from Tailored Expressions. We have Lollipop, Cookie Monster, Lime Zest, Candy Corn, Oreo, and Sea Salt. I also have the mini ink cube of VersaMark, some anti-static powder, my Scotch tape runner, and Scotch Post-it tape. And then, of course, I'll be using my Tailored Expressions blending brushes. So I'm going to start off by doing a lot of my stamping first. I'm using a piece of sugar cube cardstock that I loaded into my MISTI. And of course, I removed the foam insert of the MISTI tool because these are already foam mounted. Lining up one of the sentiments and then inking this up with Oreo ink. I'm starting off with the outline sentiment first. This is one of my favorites. Inking that up twice to make sure I have a nice solid impression. And then I can just flip my cardstock and stamp it again. So I'm getting multiples out of one piece of cardstock. And this is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now I'm also going to show you what the other ones look like. So this is the solid layer. And this is something you definitely want to make sure you're inking up really well because that would be noticeable if it wasn't stamped very well. So of course, using the MISTI, I can stamp that twice. And then here's the third design. So with all of that stamping and flipping of the cardstock, this is going to give me already here sentiments for 6 cards if I want. Now I'm going to move on to the ink blending of the shadow layer. And I love using the Tailored Expressions grid paper placemats for this. So I'm adding a dab of the Scotch tape adhesive into the center of that one that fits the orientation of my card. And then I can bring in my stencil. So I'm lining up that first layer using the etched lines on that stencil, holding it in place with Post-it tape, and I'm going to start by ink blending Lollipop ink. I started really light at first, but as I went through this, I did come in and add more ink to this to really darken that up and just really make that pop. I love how I can change all the different layers of this, customize colors. There really is so many different options for this. Then I can remove that first layer to reveal my shadow, and I can move on to the second layer. So once again, using that grid placemat underneath, I can line up my stencil very easily, holding that down with the purple tape, and then coming in with candy corn ink. After I finish with the orange and remove that, I can move on to the third shadow layer color. And that one I will be using the Lime Zest ink. And there are quite a few of them I did off camera to save some time. I just had wiped off my stencil with a wet rag, and then I can move on to another color. So here's a closer look. I just kind of twist my paper a little bit to remove it from that adhesive. And then I'll show you another variation I did, just changing up the colors to Cookie Monster, Lime Zest, and Candy Corn. Then after I completed a few other ones with the other stamp sets that I did, I'm going to take the coordinating die, hold it in place with the Post-it tape, and run it through my die cut machine. So here's a look at the variations that I have so far. Now I'll move on to working on my background. So I have a variety of cardstock here matching my inks, Lollipop, Cookie Monster, and this time I brought in Pineapple. So first I'm prepping this with an anti-static powder tool. I did go ahead and add a little bit of the Scotch tape runner underneath to hold that in place. And then I'm going to lay down this dotty ray stencil on top, and I'm going to ink this up with the mini ink cube of VersaMark ink, so that I can do some heat embossing. I did change it up. I did some white, I did gold on white. So I just really had a lot of fun embossing and creating so many different variations of this. Then this one, I sprinkled on the Tailored Expressions white embossing powder and heat set that with my heat tool. So here's a look at that one finished, and then here's one I did on the Cookie Monster. Next, I wanted to just show you really quick using the Hey There Sunshine stencil. So this gives you the outline of that Hey There sentiment. I'm using sea salt ink on white cardstock, the sugar cube cardstock, and I'm having it darker in the center, and then I'm going to have it fade off to white as I get towards the edges. I just wanted to have a subtle background. I didn't want anything too bright since my colors were really vibrant. And there's a look at all the different backgrounds that I completed. Now to add the die cut Hey There sentiment, I die cut out 4 more pieces out of the sugar cube cardstock, and I'm going to layer them together with the tape runner. This is really personal preference. You could certainly use foam squares or foam tape if you wanted to add dimension to this. I like using cardstock a lot of times because it will give me complete coverage behind my sentiment word. This definitely comes in handy when it comes to more skinnier sentiments, but I like to do it with the thicker ones as well. Then after I add my ink blended layer on top, here's a look at that dimension that it gives. Then I'll just use that tape runner, add it to the back of this, and I can put it right in the center of my dotty rays that I have on the front. And I repeated this for all my other cards that I have too. Off screen, I did go ahead and attach all of these to a card base. So I'm going to open up that card base using my MISTI tool. I'm going to load it in there and use the Good Vibes stamp set to stamp sentiments in each of my cards. And I did switch it out and use a different one on each card. And I just inked that up with the Oreo ink. Then after I have this stamped, my cards are ready to stick into the mail. There's a quick look at another one of the sentiments, and here's a look at all of the cards that I completed off screen, and I have more sitting off on the side as well. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll check out Tailored Expressions website to pick up your kit and start sending some happy mail. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.